Welcome to Thoughts from the Warmaster. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about Warmaster in relation to some of GW's newer games and how that makes Warmaster a good thing. Comes on the back of a 40k video I made recently where I was talking about getting back in or potentially getting back in or even looking at getting back in. And and then on the back of that yesterday was a big day in Blood Bowl world. About 8 years ago, GW decided to take back Blood Bowl from the living rulebook, which was a community-driven revolution type deal, if I'm being honest. And I think, although you could argue the meta was solved and everybody knew where everything was, it was very, very stable and very, very good as a game system. You knew exactly where you are, you knew exactly what everything did, and you could buy stuff, and you knew what you were getting, and you knew what to expect from a tournament. And then GW got involved, of course they did, and then they brought a new edition out, and then they sold a load of books and new teams and changed rules for the sake of changing rules. Anyway, yesterday it's been known for a little while, but yesterday they started to announce some of the bigger changes that are coming in the Season 3. Which include things like getting teams to match boxes, which sounds like a really good idea if you think about it. You think, I buy a team box and it's got 12 players in it, and those 12 players should be my starting team. But for lots of teams, orcs in particular, humans, you had to buy extra stuff in order to actually field the team you'd want to field. So you to get your 4 blitzers, 4 black orcs. So they said that was a bit of a negative experience for people. Okay, and I agree with that, and that it was leaving the market too easy to be jumped on by third-party STL producers and third-party miniature manufacturers, etc., because they would supply you 16 models. Well, my argument to GW would be, well, just supply a box with fucking 16 models in it, and the job's done. But we'll talk about that in a second. So what they did do, and this is a Warmaster conversation, honestly. It might take a few minutes to get there, but you'll see why it is. So I always bought my teams in 16s anyway, looking to what would I do with the maximum roster. And what GW have decided to do is sell the boxes of 12, or whatever they're going to do, but reduce the positional players down to what's in the box. So for some teams like Orcs and Orcs particularly, let's do Orcs. So you've got 4 blitzers, this is your top tier team. 4 blitzers, 4 blockers, and you've got 2 throwers, maybe a troll, goblins. You don't need any linemen, and they've said that the fact that linemen are getting pushed aside isn't great for the game, there is an argument for that. Don't get me wrong. So they're now taking away positional players from all teams, they say, but I think it'll be much more weighted to certain teams, and then they're going to try and balance that by giving them something back. They're also messing around with the passing rules, which is probably good, because passing was dog shit even before they started fucking around last time. And when they got involved in 2017, even passing teams struggled to justify passing, and anybody that didn't have any dedicated passers, it was just like a nonsense to even think of passing. I think the biggest problem with this is if I want my team to be bigger than 12, which is what's in a box, which I likely will, I'm still going to have to buy extra models. So to say that you're going to give me a box that's still not got 16 players in it and that's going to solve my problems, that's not true at all. So I just think that they're using that as a kind of an excuse to be able to make changes for the sake of changes. Now, don't get me wrong, some people love, and this again, we'll get to the story of the Warmaster. Some people love to be in a constant changing meta where you can kind of, A, you can leverage your experience and skill, but B, you're kind of never far away from a reboot. So if you kind of get disheartened, there's something to draw you back in a few years' time, because there's a reboot. So, but what that does do is it breeds change. So you're always kind of patching what you fucked up last time, because they did fuck up last time, and they are openly admitted they got the passing completely fucking wrong. They tried to make passing better, and what they did is make passing fucking worse. So again, they're going to try and make passing better this time, but they'll fuck up a whole load of other stuff. So then you get into this cycle of, we're not talking about lists here, we're just talking about core game mechanics of fucking the game up and then having to patch the game at the end of the cycle into a new game to correct the issues you've done from this. But rather than just say, oh, and that's it, all we're going to do is correct the fucking issues, then you bring in a load more fucking problems and then spend the whole time trying to patch those. So what it does, it creates a cycle of chaos, if you like. And as the kind of person who prefers to have my life organised and ordered and away from chaos as far as possible, this is the last thing I want to get involved in. So I'll look at it. If I want to play, I mean, it might encourage me to play throwy teams, passy teams, which is something I've said I wanted to do forever and a day. I will talk a bit. There was a reply, a really good reply to my fucking 10th ed 40k, saying why don't you play 5th ed or 4th ed, and I will do a video about that because that's a very interesting point, because especially if you pick 4th ed or around that era, that was the end of Rick's influence in 40k. He did first, he did second, he did third, he was part of the team. I don't know how strongly involved in 4th. He was in the background at 5th. Apparently he gets a small credit, but it's moved on past him by 5th. And then after that, they don't even put fucking game designers on. So it's like you're in the nonsense lands. That kind of window there, 4th, 5th, is probably where old Hammer, old 40k, if we're going to, no, sorry, I won't call it older. If you're going to go back in time to 40k, that's probably the window you want to aim for. And yes, there were some codex balances and stuff, but you can correct them. That's kind of what Warmaster Revolution is. It's like there were issues in Warmaster and they've just been corrected a little bit without whole-scale overhauls of anything. We're going to I'll maybe talk about a video about that in the future, because I think that's got some legs. Because why am I fucking wasting my time and money even contemplating spending hundreds of pounds on books and fucking models and giant Primaris fucking Marines and all this dog shit that I don't even want to fucking play, but that's the only game in town? Well, why is it the only game in town? It's the only game in town because nobody's fucking stood up and said, well, maybe I don't want to do this, and maybe I'll organise something that allows people not to have to fucking follow this nonsense, which is what Warmaster is, isn't it? I mean, you could quite easily just give in, and this is the real topic. It would be, I wouldn't say easy, but it would be conceivable that Warmaster just gave in and said, oh, fuck it, we'll do it all. We'll go keywords, we'll bring new units in, we'll have fucking Stormcast, I don't fucking know. Get everything, all comers, 50, 60 fucking lists, it doesn't matter. Just chuck it all into the great fucking sludge bucket, the great slot bucket, that's the right word, the great fucking slot bucket that is the new Warmaster, whatever it would be, Warmaster Sludge Bucket Edition. But that would be like counter to everything else that I hold Warmaster in good stead for doing. Because what it provides is a stable rule set and stable army lists, and you can gain experience over years, and that experience will still be relevant. So say I play a few games of Warmaster in 2025, then have 2026 off. Come back 2027, I can get my army out, get the fucking rulebook out, get the lists out, nothing's moved. There may be some small touches up around the edges, but it's not you coming back to a whole new game. You got to buy a whole new fucking rulebook. Oh, my army's changed. Better buy a new fucking this, that, and the other. Oh, it took me a 1,000 hours to paint this fucking army. People don't want that. They want to be able to have something they can sink time and energy into and know it's not going away. And I don't mean to talk about religion, but it's kind of like the Catholic Church, if you like. Other things around the Catholic Church are changing, and maybe the Catholic Church should change. I'm a Catholic. Maybe they should be more inclusive and they should look at doing things differently, but they don't. They say this is the way it fucking is. Take it or leave it. And I'm not saying that Warmaster Revolution should be that stubborn, but what it should be is able to stand its ground and say there are a lot of games that run around having meta this and meta that and fucking constant cycles of change, and we don't need to be that game. Warmaster Revolution does not need to be that game. It can be the game that you can pick up, play, put down, take some time away, come back, pick up, play. Nothing's really changed. Your army's still the same. You can take your time painting them. You're not going to find that in a few weeks' time there's something else come out and made your army completely obsolete, or you've got to go buy a load of new miniatures, because that's not going to happen. Because the game is stable. Now, God forbid GW get ever the idea of coming back into this fucking realm and doing their evil deeds with Warmaster. I can't see it, because it would just be physically impossible. Because hopefully The community would just say, no, we're not fucking doing this. No, we're not going down this road. I don't mind playing. I mean, I've enjoyed playing Blood Bowl, but there are more things piss me off about the game than not piss me off. And I mean, I lost my first game, won the next 7. I'm in a quarter final or something. I've really lost all impetus to even play the bloody tournament out now. But anyway, so Warmaster, I think, should be that rock, that anchor in the turbulent seas of wargaming. A bit like historical stuff. It should be there, and it shouldn't change too much. Yeah, I mean, there may be an occasion where you bring in a new list if it's not doing anything too crazy. But we've got a lot of lists already. We don't need to get to the point of just having unlimited lists. And yeah, that was a bit of a rant. I haven't done one of these in a while. I tend to stay away from on the podcast. But hopefully it was of some interest to you. And as I was going to say, I'm going to talk about 40k because I'm fucked if I'm spending all that time and money and energy building an army for an edition that's just about to fucking die anyway. So if I am going to play 40k, I'm going to hold my own and I'm going to try and play 4th or 5th ed. Yeah. So until next time.